What's up, folks? It's Mickle here. Today you're joining me to check out my 7-year-old King Ranch F-150 with 320,000 miles on it. Now, I'm doing this video because it's nice to have the videos of these new vehicles when they come out to show us all the features and what they can do. But I want to know, probably like you all, what's going on with the vehicle after it's 3, 4, 5 years old? What's the maintenance like? How much money have you spent? What's broken? What works? What doesn't work? How do they use it day to day? Any recommendation? Those are the real questions real people want to know. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at this vehicle in 3 sections: the tailgate area, the interior, then the engine. We'll check out the tires. We'll check out the body. I'll show you what I think of this vehicle. I think you're going to like the F-150 King Ranch. For those of you who already have them, your Platinum Editions, your XLTs, your Lariats, check this video out as well. And if you got something to add, please let us know in the comments section. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started on this 2017 F-150 King Ranch, 320,000 miles, and it's still humming. Let's get started. All right, folks, we're going to start off with the tailgate section, a little different from starting off inside, because after all, what makes a truck but the tailgate? So let's take a look at this thing. First of all, let's look at the skin. This is the King Ranch edition again, so look at that. We got a lot of pollen going on down here in Florida, so I'm sure wherever you are, you can understand it's a little dusty, even though it's clean. But that's the black. It's the two-tone, the traditional King Ranch. It has that nice tone. There's our side step, okay? We have the bigger tires, or should I say the bigger rims and tires with the King Ranch edition. I got it all cleaned up, armor all down for you, or whatever it is, the cleaner for the tires. We got the 4x4 badging for off-road. Although I rarely take it off-road, I do have the Ford back flip system. Already got it flipped up for you there, so you don't have to waste time. I have the tailgate down. As you all know, those of you that follow, this step and then holder here, this design that used to be designed for the F250 is in the Ford's F150. I have the spray liner in here. I would certainly not part from that. And then essentially the same thing on the other side. So your 4x4 off-road badging. And again, the backflip is already done. So let's go ahead and take a look at this tailgate, see how I use this thing on a day-to-day. So I'll just step up here on the step. As you can see, I got the spray liner going on. I also have this air gate here. I do use this time to time. And let me tell you, even though I have the 6-foot bed, this air gate sometimes is a real lifesaver, because what I can do is pull this thing out, as you can see there, and I'm gaining several more feet of space, especially in the center. So having a 6-foot bed, sometimes, you know, I'll find myself coming out just another foot or so, and having that air tailgate really helps. Now, I left all my trash in here for a purpose. Again, not a new vehicle, but 7 years old. And so this is how I use it day to day. We have the lights in here. There's a button to turn those lights on. I use that. Having the tie downs, I keep some Velcro strips and different types of things in there. Something that I'll probably get laughed at by some of you all, I keep a suitcase in my tailgate versus having that sort of full on toolbox there. I don't need it that much, but what I keep in this suitcase is something that really helps me out. In fact, I had to use it just the other day. So this is your traditional jack that comes with the Ford. It goes behind the back seat there. It's probably about an 8-inch base. There's not a lot going on. Right now, we're on a nice level ground. So if I had an issue with my tire, again, which I did last week, I could probably use that jack, but I have to, you know, put the tool in it here and you twist it. The last time I did that, my shoulder was in pain for like a week. I don't know what happened. I guess just the constant twisting. I said, I'm done with that issue. So what I did was I went out and got myself a shop jack. I get the handles here. I put this bad boy together. I use that shop jack it jacks this thing up so great. I don't have to be bothered with this. And then if I need another inch or two, which I did one time, I just simply stick my piece of wood there. I use that. I got my tie downs. Those come in handy. You know, other materials here to help me secure anything on there. So that's how I use this back tailgate area. I like this back flip. It keeps everything nice and dry. Also, you have the gate here, or should I say the funnel here for the water. So if any water was ever to get inside, it'll funnel itself out. That works. I use that. I don't have any trouble with anything leaking back here ever. Anything ever gets wet. I use this probably how you would use it. I throw trash on the back. I use luggage on the back if I'm hauling something, which is not a lot. How I tend to use this truck also, well, no, here's something else I use. This is a tape measure. I use the tape measure because I'm constantly going around looking at trophy properties, large single family homes for real estate. I'm building my dream home. So when I go into homes that have nice foyers, I need to measure. This helped me. My dream home has a 900 square foot entry foyer. So what I do is I'll go around and find homes of similar size so I can use those measurements, get that together, and give it to my architect so he can use it. So I use that a lot. That keeps me on the road a lot. So and then also I'm routinely I'm looking at properties. So I'm throwing things in the back of the truck. I have properties in some other states, so I might throw things on there. And speaking of which, let's take a look at the hauling feature, because the other thing I use this truck for is I call it my Lamborghini transport vehicle. What I do is use this vehicle in conjunction with a trailer or two trailers that I have. I'm just going to put this back up here and you'll see how easily that flips back inside. So real easy there. I'm going to close this tailgate. So coming down to this towing system here, I use one that flips in, and if anyone's ever banged their knee or their shins on these things, you'll find yourself using one that folds in. So that helps big time. But what I have is a 20-foot car hauler trailer that if I had it hooked up, you'll see it would take up essentially all this space here. And what I do is I put the Lamborghini Aventador inside that trailer. I hook it up. Now the trailer itself is an enclosed car hauler, so it probably weighs about 4,500, 5,000 pounds by itself. And then I put the Lamborghini inside. That's another probably 3,800 pounds. This truck can safely tow probably 11,000 pounds. Now I will admit, when I fill this truck up, it gets about 700 miles to the gallon. That is thanks to this 36-gallon fuel tank. Now, it's probably going to cost me, well, you know, depending on the fuel price, about $4 a gallon to fill it up. If I'm not towing anything, it'll get me about 700 miles, probably a little bit more in the winter. But when I put my trailer on here, at least the car hauler, it takes that down to about 200 miles. So pulling that kind of weight, it really drags on the engine. I wish the F150, and again, this is the V6 engine. I wish it could go a little bit more, but you know, that's sort of what I got there. I do have another trailer that I use. I have a golf cart that it's a raised golf cart. So I use that for going to check out some of my other properties. So again, my mileage is not as bad with the golf cart because the pounds is probably, you know, I don't know, 1,000 pounds or whatever. But with that car hauler, I do get a lot less gas mileage. I don't really have a need for an F250 because I do a lot of interstate driving. I'm not dragging that stuff all the time. Most of the time it's just me inside and my computers. But we'll get to that part in a minute. So that's what I use it for. Again, my Lamborghini transport, my golf transport. Otherwise, I'm not really towing anything at all. Now, let's take a look at this back gate here. You'll see this is really slick looking. I really like this King Ranch badging, that nice sort of platinum or chrome strip there. That really beautifies it, I think. I was told in the 2024 and beyond, they're going to get rid of that strip. Not sure why. I think they're not doing themselves a justice there, but perhaps they're going to go for more of a vertical flip down to something that sort of opens out. So I guess if you had to cut this King Ranch in half, you're trying to open one half or the other, like the new competitive tailgates, maybe it didn't look good. So maybe it's form over function or something like that. So I'm not sure. Haven't really looked into that, but I do think this tailgate really highlights it. So hopefully Ford will figure out some kind of way to get that badging back in there. Again, I did go with the 36-gallon option here. That means when I fill up and I get on the interstate, I can drive for hours and hours, and sometimes I do. Just get out there and I drive, and I can go for, depending on summer or winter, probably 640, 650 to sometimes as many as 750 miles, only stopping to go to the bathroom, get something to eat, get back on the road, and I keep going. So I think we've done a thorough view of this back tailgate area. I think I've answered most of the questions. How do I use it? What can be better? I don't really think anything can be better. I use it what it's used for. Having that spray-in liner has just been priceless. You're not damaging and scratching up your truck. I would highly recommend that. I did add this backflip as an option. I don't remember what it was. I think it cost about $1,200-1,300 bucks. So let's see. Oh yes, money replacing things. Yes, this portion right here, I just put one finger under here and then the tailgate pops open. They had an issue that, you put your finger, you push the button, and there was a click, click, click. The clicking, there was something broke. I had to take it in. I don't remember the replacement costs. I don't know, $400 or $500 bucks, whatever it was. Probably you really handy folks can do it yourself. I'm not handy like that, so I stay in my own lane. I only fix the things that I can fix. And when it comes to vehicles, that's not much. So anything of interest, nope. I think we covered everything. So that's our first area that we've covered. Let's see, anything else here? Nope. I got a little scratch there, but I don't know. I hit something somewhere. Oh, yes, it's some of interest. I do. I'm from the mobile home, and my saying has always been from the mobile home to where moguls roam. But I don't forget where I've come from, and I've prospered pretty good. So what I did was I took my Lamborghini back to the trailer park where I came from one time of the area. We weren't in the trailer park anymore. But at any rate, I went back to the hometown to sort of, give them an opportunity to see something they hadn't seen before. And as they say, no good deed goes unpunished. I threw a big sort of outdoor party for the entire community, had the Lamborghini delivered in, and we had a big party. At the end of the party, by the late that night or the early next morning, someone had jugged a hole, probably bigger than a silver dollar size, right in here. I don't know how it happened. I don't know if it was an accident. I don't know why it was done, but it was done. I don't know how. And so I had to take it to Ford. I don't even remember how they fixed that thing, but they got it fixed. And so, again, nobody was hurt. The truck is fine. And that's that. I didn't secure my trailer good enough, and I went to drag it off, and the heavy 5,000-pound car hauler, the ball came and hit this part here. So it sort of dented it in a little bit. I had to replace that. But other than that, again, everything is good as you see it here. So that's our tailgate area. Next, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and have a look inside the cab here. We'll answer all the same questions. So with that, let's go ahead and look into the inside of this King Ranch. All right, folks, I got the front door open here. Let's go ahead and open the back. We're gonna do a thorough view of what I got going on here, how I use the inside cab, just because it's easier. Let's just do the back first here. We have this beautiful sort of brown, traditional King Ranch leather. We got the wood grain going on here, nice chrome accents. That's pretty slick looking. Inside the seats here, we got the King Ranch badging, nice size headrests. If you're like me, or you like most, you probably got a family, you got kids or family that ride in the back. Using things, we put her in the seat. Seats still look really good after 7 years of just punishment. What I do use is a little bit of storage area here. I keep a full-size umbrella. I don't like getting wet using those tiny umbrellas, so I put that stuff down there. I do wish that there was a bigger box here that I could store things under, and I understand Ford did address that with the newer model, but this is okay for now. But yeah, I wish I had a box that I could store things in and not have this, and perhaps it's a way to upgrade that somewhere. I haven't done it. It's not that big of a deal. We have the flip down here, so we use this sometimes. We put the your cup holders there, so that works. That's nice. We'll just push that back up. We have that sort of full-size sun view here, so this whole thing folds back and gets you some nice sun. Although in Florida, I'm not sure you want to do that all the time. It is a sunshine state, but it's very bright. Now, I am 6'2", 6'2 and a half. As you can see, I have long legs, but even in the back of this truck, I have plenty of room. There's also some outlets here. USB, you can do that. We have heated seat options. We don't need that, at least not in Florida. We have a cigarette lighter plug-in, and then we also have a full-size, or your regular standard traditional plug-in, although the fit for this is not really good. So if we plug something in, it's always very loose. So what I end up doing is plugging things up front there. You see the orange sort of outlet to add things to it. A little bit of, stuff there. Again, this is a truck that we use pretty routinely. Store things in the back here. We got some extra storage there. Looks like some hand sort of sanitizer. Keep everything nice and clean. Some more storage here. Again, your light holders, or your lights, your hanger holders that you can use to put your clothes and things on. And so plenty of space here. You got the King Ranch badging on this carpet here. I do keep it vacuumed out quite a bit, and that's pretty much how I use it. What could be better? We went into that with the storage area. I haven't spent any money replacing anything back here. It's all pretty simple. Nothing really of interest. I think we covered everything. And let's see, our door handles here. So, oh, I will say, yes, something of interest. The vent system. When I first got this truck, it was summertime, June of 17. So up front, the air blows up pretty cool. It was cool back there. But back here in the back, this air was not really reaching. These receptacles were not throwing out a lot of air. So you really got to crank this thing up front. The side vents are going to freeze the front passengers. So probably what you have to do is close off your side vents, really amp up your center vents, aim them back here. But it was difficult. These smaller vents just wasn't getting it done. I don't know if maybe it was excessively hot. Either way, that was the issue there. So this is the back. Let's go ahead and go around the front, fire this thing up so I can show you the dash, other things that I use so you can see how you might use it. So we're looking at the front door here. Again, the nice, beautiful King Ranch brown. You got the hard grain, should I say the hardwood look there. You got the chrome accents, lots of storage. We keep suntan lotion for the beach off, all types of first aid for the things that crawl and fly around Florida so much. These seats, they move up and down, sideways, they get heated, they cooled. But let's be honest, probably once you get the vehicle, if you're the primary driver, which most of you probably will be, you don't move that seat much. So I pretty much leave it where it is. The only time it gets moved is when I take it in for servicing, and the shop guys tend not to be quite as tall, so they'll pull it up. So I don't really bother with that. Obviously, your open the hood there. We'll get into that a little bit later. Those are our vents. So let me go ahead and hop inside here, and we'll go ahead and check out some of the features that I use on a day-to-day. Again, 320,000 miles after 7 years. Let's see how this thing sounds when I start it up. All right, again, very good, still nice and quiet when I start this thing up after so many miles. Now, let's take a look at probably something of the biggest interest, just to see if I really have as many miles as I say I do. So I'm just gonna zoom that in here, and you can see 320,000 miles. I just got the oil change just on yesterday, so it's at 100%. That's my engine hours, just over 7,800, probably about 18% engine idle hours. I believe that's going to come as a source of, let's zoom out a little bit, of this button right here, which is that automatic shut off. When I get to the stoplight, sometimes it'll cut off, so just a few seconds this engine is sitting idle, it'll cut itself off, and then when you take your foot off the brake, then it quickly cranks back up. So again, as you can see here, I filled up yesterday, so I have 634 miles to empty, but I've already been driving some. It was about 700 when I filled it up. I won't go into all the other screens there, but what I will do is address that check engine light. The check engine light has been on for probably about 150,000 miles. That's due to some CO sensors. I got an estimate yesterday. They're probably about $700 to get those sensors fixed. I'll probably get around to it. I do also have a little bit of a leak by my rear axle. I'll put those, what those parts look like. Ford did give me a breakdown of what those parts look like. It's not engine oil that's dripping. It's just sort of a seal that could be replaced. I'll probably get to that sooner rather than later. Going around the steering wheel here, you can see where my hand is most of the time, where I'm really getting to wear. The rest of the steering wheel is still in good shape after all these years. Horn still works. I do use this toggle to get in between the screens there. It's not a big deal. I use cruise control a lot. I normally lock it on 75 out on the interstate and ride for many miles. Also, I use the mirror closing and opening here. So if I touch this button here and then hit this button, the down arrow, it closes the mirrors. It's pretty slick to see. It's always pretty cool to be able to close the mirrors. When I'm going through the ATMs, sometimes I have to pull that thing in just so I can get clearance. So that's something I use a lot. The sun visors, sometimes I use the sun visors, but not a big deal there. We got your sunglass case. Keep a pair of sunglasses in there. Let's see what else I use. Sun visor there. This rear window here, you'll see the button for it here. I'll essentially, so as you can see there, I'll open that rear window to let air in and out, close it up here. So I use that quite a bit. Let's see, what have I replaced? The starter. I replaced my starter last week. Obviously, driving this vehicle so much, start, stop, so much. I replaced the starter. It's about 900 or $1,000, and that was last month, so I had to do that. That's just normal wear and tear. The 4x4, again, not so much. I have had to use it in colder climates, which I try to stay out of. This trailer backup, I don't use that. I believe some stickers I would have to put on my trailers to use it. But what I call my Jake brake, I do use that to start, to stop my trailers. Let's see, I have some storage down here. I'll use this. I keep ketchup down here. I'll keep Waffle House syrup in there. I like to go into Waffle House. I love Hardee's and Zaxby's and Wendy's. And lately, this, I call it Hurricanes restaurant. Raising Cane's is the name, but chicken's so good, I call it Hurricanes. Got some more storage going on here, some USB there. I keep my mask. I did get COVID several years ago. I was hospitalized, so that thing was real. Keep my mask on. I don't use it as much. All types of crap down in here. It's a huge storage here, receptacle. I do use the, I keep a charging, or should I say an extra port here to plug in computers. So I normally keep 3 computers in this vehicle all the time, and a lot of time they're running at the same time. One work computer, two personal computers. I'm always computing, which is why I have this receptacle here. Now, I love this. I do have other vehicles, obviously, but this one is the best. Now, I have a Mercedes S-Class, and I was down incidentally in an area called Fisher Island, which is a very high-end exclusive area in Miami. You have to drive your car onto a ferry, and then the ferry takes your vehicle over to the island. When you get off, you can drive around, although most people drive around on golf carts. Well, what happened was I was on Fisher Island. I had to go to an event, but I had my computers with me. I was running two computers. I had a small plug-in receptacle in this plug-in here. I had two computers running for probably about 2 hours. And then I went into my event. I came back out the event, and that darn thing had killed the battery. That never happens in this F-150. I can run 3 computers all day. I normally keep a Wi-Fi device here. There is one built into the truck, but I never bothered with it. I just use the one that I have. Obviously, your glove compartment, some storage there. There's more storage down there. I do, let's see. I use a lot of YouTube. And you can't see my phone, but I have the Galaxy Fold phone. And what I'll do is I'll go to the source. You can see Lamborghini transport vehicles, what I use this for here, AM, FM, Sirius. But I use a lot of YouTube. And what I'll do is I'll sit my phone where I have this phone sitting right here. And when I'm going down the highway, I'll glance every now and then, but mostly the audio from my YouTube videos. A lot of Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Joel Osteen, TD Jakes, Les Brown, very motivational type speakers, and I'll have that stuff running constantly. The audio system in here is great. I can't demonstrate it right now because obviously I'm using it to, for the phone here, but trust me, the audio system is great. Lots of speakers, one right there, one right here, one right here. There's a subwoofer somewhere. There's a speaker right here. And then in the back, we have speakers here. And then in the other door, it is just a great, great sound system. Audio quality is great. I use my phone a lot for this system. When the family calls, their name pops up, text messages will pop up. I'll just press the button. It'll read the text messages to me. So that's been great as well. So that's pretty much the interior. In terms of things I have replaced, I don't think I've replaced anything. What could be done better? Nope, nothing there. Haven't spent any money in this section, so that's that. So let's go ahead and hit the engine. I'll tell you about maintenance and other things that I've had to do in terms of the maintenance, how much they cost. I already told you about the O2 sensors, and then also the a little bit of the oil leak that I'm having. I wouldn't even call it a leak, but just, the spill or whatever you want to call it. But let's get into the engine. There is one major cost replacement I've had to do, and that's involved, and that's around timing. So I'm going ahead and pop the engine. We'll address some things with the engine, and then other things I had to replace up front over the years. So let me pause and go to the front engine. I'll open up the hood, and we'll continue for the last portion of this review. All right, folks, so I have the engine open. We'll go ahead and review this front section here. Again, we'll start with the outside skin. We got the King Ranch badging here. That looks slick. Our F-150 badging, again, our King Ranch W there. The bigger tires still look good. Something I did have to replace here. If I can get you to look here, this sort of plastic piece here, this whole sort of unit here was sort of pulled forward one day, sort of at an angle. I'm not sure what caused it. Don't know what it was. I never figured it out, but this whole piece was sort of angled forward some. It was noticeable by me, not so much by other people. I did have to replace that. That was about $700. I don't do anything in this engine. I just get my oil change, my tires rotated each time. And incidentally, let me go back to the tires for a minute. When I first bought this truck, I was concerned that these big tires were going to cost me quite a pretty penny to get them replaced. That was not the case. My original tires that I bought with this vehicle gave me 103,000 miles before I had to do anything. So I replaced those tires, put a new set on. I drove that new set to 200,000 miles, and then I replaced the front. They told me don't worry about the back. The back was good. The back kept going an additional 50,000 miles. So I got 150,000 miles off the back. And then at 200,000 miles, again, I replaced this one. So I put another set on, and then now I went to 300,000. I just recently replaced those at 3. So this is, I don't know, maybe, I think maybe about 310,000 miles I replaced the front. So I got a few here. I recently replaced the back. And again, I said I ran through a construction section and had a nail in the tire, so I had to replace that recently. Let me look under the hood here. No, I had, oh, here we go. I hit a deer broadside about 5 a.m. one morning. A big male buck ran out in front of me. I had nowhere to go, so I hit him. And then this whole section had to be replaced there. So I had to do that again because of a deer. I was in New York City once, and a delivery truck, I was at a stoplight. He got too close and he pushed my mirrors forward. Obviously, they were in the driving position. I thought it broke the mirrors, but when I got to the stoplight, I pushed it back. It was fine. I did replace the antenna. I didn't have to. I thought it was something wrong with the antenna. It's just the area that I was in wasn't getting the FM station that I really wanted, but I didn't have to replace it. I did. I replaced the battery one time. I didn't have to do anything else there. Let's see, anything else I had to replace? Yes, the timing. I did get my timing belt after the first, I think 75,000 or 80,000 miles. I did replace that. And then after maybe, I don't know, 175,000 miles or somewhere around there, 175 to 200,000 miles, the truck started running loud. And that was very concerning for me because my last F-150 King Ranch, which was a 2010, and I'll get to why I went to that one in a minute, but, or should I say why I had to change in a minute. But when I took it into Ford, they said it jumped timing, and I didn't really know what that meant. But what they did was, whatever they do when the thing jumps timing, they had to put it back together. I thought it was something as simple as going in and putting a timing belt back in or timing chain. That was not the case. I have a picture, and I'll probably put it up. They had to completely dislodge the upper part of this truck from the chassis. Had to take the thing all the way apart. And what that did was allow them to get in and correct that timing issue. It really felt like they gave me a new engine, a new lease on life. Now, it cost me $6,000 to put this thing, get it back on timing, but I'd rather that than having to replace the truck. So that's what that was the biggest expense I ever had with this truck. I sincerely hope you never have to do that because it's quite costly. So now let's get into why I went from my 2010 King Ranch into this one. In fact, this is my third F-150. I never saw myself as a truck person. I was always a luxury car guy. Your full-size Lexus, full-size Mercedes, those types of things. Obviously, Acura NSX, Lamborghini. But I was more of that kind of a guy. Was never a truck guy. And what happened is one of my uncles, as I got some background noise, kids going to school here. One of my uncles asked me to drive his F-150. He had a black F-150. It was the Lariat, so it didn't have the extended tailgate, and you can see it by that area there. And what happened was I had to drive his vehicle on a 1,000-mile trip. So what happened was about 50 miles into that, I really dug that truck. I said, man, I really like this thing. Me being a luxury car guy, I had a home at the time, a single family home in the area. And they always say, hey, look, if you have a home, you need a truck. And that was the case. So I bought a very base model F-150, none of this fancy stuff. It had cloth seats, didn't have a bed liner in the truck, just very simple. to give myself a try and see if I liked it. I did. I loved the size. So then I got I bought that truck used, probably had about 25,000 miles on it. I drove it to about 150,000 miles, and then the engine gave me a lot of trouble for whatever reason. And then I got the 2010 King Ranch. Again, bought it used from CarMax. When I bought it, they told me it was a fleet vehicle. Not sure what that meant. The problem it gave me was at the gas station. I filled it up. I went to crank it up. That's when we were still turning the key in the ignition. Cranked it up. The engine would turn, but it wouldn't quite turn over and crank. I took it to the mechanic, and he said with those fleet vehicles, those people didn't care about which fuel they were using. So he said, always go to the cleaner gas stations where they clean the tanks. Those sort of secondary systems, they don't clean the tanks, and all that trash gets into your fuel line. So he replaced that, and the truck ran better. I drove it from probably about 25,000 miles to about 150,000 miles, and then it started running really, really loud. And I took it in, and they say, hey, your engine is about shot. But the King Ranch had all these features: the bigger mirrors, the bigger tires. I did have a bed liner, a spray and bed liner. So when I had to replace the truck, and I did it reluctantly because I never wanted to spend this kind of money on a truck. In fact, this truck was $69,000 all in 2017. My understanding is a replacement, if I tried to duplicate this truck right now, would be about $85,000. Really don't want to spend that kind of money. So at any rate, when I went into the, looking for another truck, they said, you're probably going to have to get a new one. I thought that was really just some sort of sales tactic. They were trying to get me to spend money. Went around about 5 or 6 dealerships. They all told me the same thing. They're like, look, buddy, if you want a truck with those big mirrors, King Ranch, nice rims, all this stuff going on here that you see, no guy is going to turn that truck in. You're going to have to order that. And I just thought it was baloney. But after 6 dealerships, they made a believer out of me. And again, here I am, 320,000 miles, 7 years later. You can't pry this truck away from me. I mean, look at it. The body still looks great. If something came up with the engine, I'd probably replace the engine and keep it going. But yeah, the guy is not going to get this truck in this condition and give it up, chances are. So probably unless it was a fleet vehicle like the one I had. So I don't plan to get rid of this truck. But if I do have to, I'll probably just pass it down. We'll keep it as a generational vehicle, keep the engine going. So barring any type of major accident, I don't see any reason to get rid of it. It looks great still after so many years. I keep it clean, I wash, I keep the tires clean, I replace the tires and things. And that's about it, folks. So I've shown you how I use it, what I've spent money replacing, any things of interest, and that's pretty much it. So I hope this video has helped you all out, and that if you are going to get a King Ranch, I think it'll do you good. So you other guys that have these platinum editions, and I say guys, gals too. I mean, as they say, I've seen signs that say silly boy, trucks are for girls. So if any young ladies out there as well have these trucks, and I'm starting to see more women drive these full-size trucks, by the way. I'd love to hear from you platinum edition, you lariats, and then also your XLT. I mean, if something something you have of interest, and please, let's hear it. So that's it. Again, we have all kind of reasons to look at new vehicles, but I wanted to hear from the guy that's had the vehicle for a while and was using that thing and had it and can tell me all about it. So that's it. I'm going to sign off from the mobile home to where moguls roam. I am Anthony Von Mickle. Activate Gorilla Grind mode. Let's work.